I'm settling into a rhythm with Elden Ring. I take off and meander the world looking for treasure, curiosities, and experience, and then I throw myself into a demon wall for 5 or 6 tries. I can't start with a boss fight, because I'm not Steve Kerr, practicing sitting on the bench for 30 minutes at a time, then running out and hitting a single 3-pointer. I have to warm up to it. Today our warm-up involves this swamp, which I believe is up to the north across a broken bridge. It's full of weird nightmares, which is something to which I am growing accustomed. Spider people, weird ladies, Elden Ring has it all. Like this drowned village of giant fish babies with their bulbous heads and vacuous eyes. I don't like them, and I wish that they would stop. I don't understand the fish babies, but I understand the big bony balloon bomb even less. That I like, though. More balloon bombs, please. I think I've been good. Later on, here's Zeus's personal bodyguard pacing around. I don't have any sense of self-preservation, so I immediately go for it. Plenty intimidating, but I'm starting to get my murder legs under me at this point. My new method of exploration is to look at my map, see a big stretch of it without any markers whatsoever, and then go see if I overlooked it or not. There's this swamp that's just south of the bridge where the Corpse Brigade wanders, so let's see what's happening down here. I don't think this is where I'm supposed to be. Does summoning an army of beastmen to take up arms against their king make me a horrible person? It does, doesn't it? It does. Shit. I don't like this thing's face almost as much as it doesn't like mine. Please stop trying to eat my brain, you galactic weirdo. Fort Height is still on my horizon, having beaten me soundly time and time again a few days ago. With enough FP to use a new summon, plus my big wolf sword, I give it another shot and I just roll it. Almost zero trouble. The big bruiser, swiped. The firebombers, sniped. The rats, trapped. The Burk with the blade, utterly stomped by the bigger blade. Half of the Dectus medallion is mine, and I retire for the day content. But I cannot stay away, and so I find myself curious about other regions of Limgrave, or whatever the name of this entire world is. Oh, I'm not supposed to be here. I hear it before I see it. This ringing bell chiming out across the land. When I do finally lay eyes on it, it takes my breath away. A temple on top of a living plateau with 4 rocky legs, walking in a slow circle through this canyon. The bell continues to ring as it moves, constantly sounding out over the land. It takes no notice of those below it. It interacts with nothing around it. I don't know if it is alive or just enchanted. I spend 500 runes on a piece of paper that tells me the ground around it has to be pacified first before I can interact with it further, but the golden ghosts that walk around it have been cut down time and time again, and I have yet to detect a change. Later today and in future days, I will find myself just watching it, up close and from afar alike, having moved past the desire to solve it and now just wanting to continue experiencing it, witnessing it, proving that it exists, and that by perceiving it, perhaps I exist too. It is majestic and at this point unexplainable, and that is fine. That is more than fine. I am awed. Oh, hey, some beach zombies. I can get some runes off of them. Oh, hey, a zombie beach. I can get a lot of runes off of too many zombies, too many zombies, too many zombies! Inside this chest is an entire Dave Matthews Band concert-going experience, and I wake up on the corner of Gray Street and the end of the world. However, this billy is entirely too large to be tripped, my failures crash into me, and were I to stay, I would merely be wasting time. Get out of here, weed. I'm not under the table, nor am I dreaming. Look, when you see a chest blowing smoke and the last one took you to the space between, you have to ask yourself one question. What would you say? Shit. Oh yeah. Remember when I beat Margit? What else is in that castle anyway? So as I start to explore this giant castle, this Breath of the Wild style Hyrule castle that dominates the horizon, let's talk about Elden Ring. Thus far I quite like it, which honestly surprises me. As I detailed in the opener of this series, I don't have any experience with the Souls series, and I've had something between a lack of interest and an active disinterest in the series since Dark Souls came out and collectively shot warm water up the internet's backside. The popular perception of the Souls games is that they are going to be so difficult, you guys, that they're totally going to whip your ass repeatedly, and they're going to laugh while they do it, and you're going to be sad, but this is a series for men, and men overcome challenges even when the game hates them. And the entire point of discovering anything in this series is to do it on your own, never talk to anyone else, never look anything up. The game will even lie to you and mock you and hide things from you, and that's good, actually. I don't think this is a misconception or a misremembering on my part. The PC port of Dark Souls is called the Prepare to Die edition. The entire idea of get good is a Dark Souls thing. It paints a picture of this series being impenetrable, being cruel, unforgiving, this brutal affair that you don't play, you survive. Beating a game is adversarial, perhaps too much so, but in a Souls game, that's what you expect. The game is going against you. It is you, the player, versus Dark Souls. Now, obviously, I can't speak to the past games, but this is very much in the style of Dark Souls, a spiritual follow-up if nothing else, so all of my observations are limited to Elden Ring. I don't get that vibe from Elden Ring. By no means do I think Elden Ring is an easy game. You can die very easily. I've done it several times now. You can also quite easily blunder into an area that is too dangerous for you, be that where you do not do enough damage or resist enough damage to survive, or where unfamiliar hazards end your existence and you don't have the tools to mitigate them. But those deaths are not punishing. To my knowledge so far, the only thing you lose upon death is the runes you were carrying, and you can reclaim those by making it back to your body and pressing the triangle button. If you don't, yeah, those are then lost, but they're easily reclaimed through another method, and that is fighting enemies. Any items you obtained up to that point remain with you. Dying refills your health flasks. Bosses are challenging, to be sure. Margit probably should have taken me more than 2 tries. I've thrown myself into opposing swords and shields and failed half a dozen times. But, again, thus far, every boss I've fought has been an incredibly short run from a campfire or whatever they're called here, so there isn't a gauntlet I have to run to tackle the boss again. Every boss is learnable, too. The animation is particularly gorgeous, and while they hardly telegraph their attacks, you come to recognize them. My first attempt at a boss looks nothing like my 6th, when I know where the sword is going to fall when they swing it overhand versus when it comes from the hip. I've gone with dodging instead of blocking because I like to live dangerously, and it's working out great so far. I'm definitely learning each run. When I tackle a boss that wipes the floor with me, but I got a few hits in, I'll usually try it a second time. There are encounters I know I can't handle just yet, but sometimes I'll get to about 25% down on the health bar before I die, and I'll say, okay, 6 more tries. If I get it in those 6, fantastic. If not, walk away and go do something else. Here, the open world helps it a great deal because there's always somewhere else that I can go. There will be enemies lurking around at the corner in a dungeon hallway, but that's just funny. I haven't come across anything cheap or cruel, honestly. While it's true that the game turned me loose and said explore at the opening without slapping a major quest text thing in the top corner, it instead put massive structures on the horizon that interested me, and I went to those, and there I found story and direction. It's possible this is a huge departure from the Souls games, but it makes me want to experiment with those older games to see if the reputation they were given wasn't entirely earned. By no means do I think this is the greatest game of all time or anything, but I'm really enjoying my time with it, and if I didn't have to do 2 hours of writing/editing/processing for every hour that I played, I'd likely have played a lot more by now. I also don't think I'm doing so bad at it. I'm reluctant to say that, which is silly, but no, let's talk about it. I'm in this castle forever, after all. There's a lot of talk about what it means to be good at a game. The Souls games, I think, get a great deal of this. Get good, as I mentioned above. You've got to be good. You've got to improve. Can't figure it out? Can't get past that boss? Get good, son! But to be honest, it's not enough to be good. You could post a video of something you're proud of, be that a series of dramatic dodges or narrowly pulling out a victory when you were sure you were about to lose, and there will always be people claiming they did it better. Or that you could have won 6 minutes earlier if you just hadn't done this one thing there was zero chance you could have seen without zaprudering the film like an obsessive conspiracy theorist. No, you have to be the very best. We only talk about the best. We only talk about the fastest, or the first, or the richest, or the most followed. Go to any sports website and head into the comments section. Do not actually do this. And you will see endless debate over if player A or player B is really a winner. Like the only way you can correctly judge a player's value is if they won a championship. Dan Marino overrated because Miami only put a decent team around him once or twice during his entire career. Nikola Jokic is a 2-time NBA MVP, but it's somehow his fault that Jamal Murray's ACL and Michael Porter Jr.'s back both gave out on them. How many tennis players will be remembered as merely pretty good solely because they had the misfortune to be playing at the same time as the greatest of all time, Serena Williams? Rings culture hurts everyone. A discussion about who the better player is between Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo will have someone bringing out rings for Rondo, as if being on a championship team with a few Hall of Famers somehow makes you a Hall of Famer too. Larry Brown has 2 interceptions fall in his lap during a Super Bowl, and Al Davis can't throw money at him fast enough. Is it better to win the championship every time you get there, like Michael Jordan did, or make the championship game an absolutely ludicrous number of times in what people might say is a more competitive environment, like LeBron James? The LeBron and MJ debate will be raging long after both men are dead. There is this obsession with comparisons, that every victor must have a corresponding loser, and as soon as a new victor rises, the race is on to see them defeated. Not to defeat them, mind you, but to see them defeated. In any sports season, there is 1 winner and 29 losers. It's not enough to be good, you have to be better. I feel guilty because I beat Margit with an NPC summon. I did what the game wanted. I went there and saw it and pressed the button and then got through the boss fight. It was intense. My heart was pounding. I feel guilty when I use a normal summon to get through a tricky part. Why? Why do I think this somehow doesn't count? What's next? Does it only count if you do it with the weakest weapon? Oh, right, I'm not playing this with a fucking Donkey Konga controller. Clearly, I'm not playing the game right. The developer's vision was that you'd play it with your eyes closed and someone impersonating Al Michaels calling the game like an NFL broadcast. All of these videos should have an asterisk on them. This benefits no one. This hurts everyone. We should be celebrating the attempts. We should be championing the people who are trying something new and struggling. We should be praising the people who are back on that mountain for the 60th try because they're determined. We should be fighting for accessibility. Put the hell yeah in the chat when they're going to do it, not just after it's all said and done. And if someone else did it better, did it first, did it with a bigger audience, or whatever, go lift them up instead of trying to make their pedestal higher by burying everyone else in a fucking trench. Elden Rings culture. Does that work? Is that anything? This castle, though, is so big and so extensive that I think I'm going to wrap for the day and try it again later on. There's a lot in here, and it's all really quite mad at me. Have a lovely evening, everyone, and I will see you next time.